Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The DRF race of the day for Thursday, August the 24th, race number 9 at Saratoga. It's the Grade 2 Ballston Spa. $300,000 is the purse. Fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th on the inner turf. Let's take a look at this field. Please scan or click the QR code for race of the day access on mobile, which includes free formulator past performances. 9 entered for turf. The 10 into happiness is main track only. The number 8 technical analysis is your 9-5 morning line favorite on turf, coming off a win in the De La Rose last time out where she controlled the pace up front. She loves Saratoga.
She's run really well up here, won this race last year on the front end with a triple-digit buyer speed figure, Dan. She'll try to defend her title here. Listen, she's been really good when they put her on the lead. She doesn't have to be there to be effective, however. Overall, her turf form is just very, very strong.
I'm very curious as to how the jocks will play this going into the first turn. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Technical analysis, I think, is best when she's on the lead. She has one from off the pace, most notably the Lake George at Saratoga a couple of Saratogas ago. I think Evie Jets this time around is not conceding anything. I think she's going to the front.
You would like to think that they learned their lesson last time, Dan, because she had an inside draw in that De La Rose, but they didn't go for the lead. They let technical analysis take up the running, and Evie Jets just did not fire her best shot from off the pace. She's way better when she makes the lead. I'm with you. I think Saez has to go this time.
Shipping over from Europe is the number 1 Jumbly. This is a filly, a group stakes winner overseas who sold for $1.5 million in December. Now with trainer Joseph O'Brien, she's raced twice this year. She's run okay. I think firm ground is what she wants, and I think she might get a pretty decent trip after breaking from the inside post. Sometimes these Euros don't break pretty well, but 2 starts back, she came with an inside-out bid to get second from the back.
Yeah, that was a pretty good performance, that start 2 back 2 day, because that race got wired by a pretty good horse, and she had a lot of work to do in the stretch. I liked the finish that she put in there. Last time, listen, maybe it was just a little bit of a better field. I don't know, man. She had her shot at that race, and to me, she just wasn't quite good enough in there. Maybe they just ship her over here, and she's found the right kind of spot. Either way, it feels like she's a pretty dangerous horse in this race.
Chad Brown so well stocked with fillies and mares on the turf with all turf horses. He has the 2 Consumer Spending seeking her 3rd consecutive win. Here's her victory in the Matchmaker, coming on the heels of a win in the Eatontown. Both races at Monmouth Park. Consumer Spending had some work to do turning for home. It's not like there was a ton of pace in here. You're going to see surprisingly make the lead right now. But for the 2nd straight race, Consumer Spending's better.
I really like this performance from this horse. I mean, she finishes super strong in here. Surprisingly, finally, they tried something different there. They said, you know what, we can't beat Consumer Spending from behind her. Let's go in front of her and get first run this time. They got first run, and Consumer Spending just came and steamrolled her with a really good finish. She's awful good as a 4-year-old, Dan. She has taken some real steps forward so far this year.
Evie Jets won the Grade 3 Noble Damsel last year during the Belmont at the Big A meet from just off the pace, then wired technical analysis in the Perfect Sting 2 starts back. In the De La Rose, they conceded a technical analysis. They paid the price. I wish she ran a little better.
I agree. I mean, I'd be willing to give her the excuse that she's just better when she makes the lead, but she's run better than that without it in the past, and it was just a little bit of a flat performance. Her good race has to give her some kind of a chance in here, especially if they just let her control the pace early. I still think she's in pretty tough against a field like this one.
Irad Ortiz picks up the mount on the 4 Fluffy Socks for Chad Brown. This is a millionaire who just missed in this race last year, went 2nd to technical analysis. Good effort at Churchill Downs off the layoff in her seasonal debut, a race where the trip worked out. She was able to settle in mid-pack, got a big hole in between horses, but then was game to hold off a quality runner named Spenderella, who was also coming back off the layoff. Probably didn't have much chance against Tougher last time in the Diana.
Yeah, maybe the Diana's just too tough for her, Dan. We'll give her a little bit of an excuse for that one. I don't think she ran great that day. I thought she ran a super race 2 starts back at Churchill. She got a great trip in that race. I still thought it was one of the best performances of her career. If there's pace in front of her, I'm going to expect her to make a late run into this race.
Surprisingly is up next. We saw her get run down by Consumer Spending in the Matchmaker. 2 starts back in the Eatontown. She saved some ground. Maybe was stopped very briefly in upper stretch, but I think even with a clean trip would not have beaten Consumer Spending that day. But she is remarkably consistent. And as we've seen over the years, these Shug McGahee horses just seem to get better as they mature.
Yeah, they do. We'll see if she can, find a way to take a step forward, not only to get past consumer spending, but maybe to get past a couple of these others as well, Dan. I'm a fan of hers. I like what she's done so far. I think she's pretty hard to take in this race just based on those last three meetings with consumer spending.
The question for the number 6, Speak of the Devil, trained by Chad Brown, is can she run anymore? When she showed up in North America in 2022 in that distaff turf mile at Churchill Downs, she just looked super winning that race, and she hasn't run back to that race even close to it in her 4 subsequent starts. I think she had an excuse last time out in the Just a Game. A, she was in too tough against her stablemate in Italian. B, how was she supposed to win that race? It was completely paceless, and she's pulling her head off at the back of the pack.
Yeah, it didn't set up the way that she wanted it to set up. She probably wasn't going to be able to win that race regardless. This is a better spot for Speak of the Devil. Your call, whether you feel like she's ever going to get back to that distaff turf mile that she ran over a year ago, Dan. If she runs that race, she could easily win here. If she runs any of the other 4 that she's shown up with in North America, she's probably not getting anything.
The Seven Sister Bridget is just simply hard to recommend. Eligible for a non-winners of 2 life, was a big price and a first level allowance last time out, made the lead and tired. Maybe she'll be part of the pace, but she's a horse that the others have to avoid late.
Yeah, dropping back in distance for this race, it feels like it's going to be hard for her to even make the lead if they want it, Dan. I mean, she just looks like she's in way over her head here.
Technical Analysis, the number 8, is your morning line favorite if the race stays on turf. I think she probably needed the race in the perfect sting when beaten by Evie Jets. I know she was odds on that day. She came back in the Della Rose, and this race was just a beautiful ride from Jose Ortiz, just taking the race to Evie Jets, taking the race to Evie Jets, making the lead, backing down the fractions, and then just showing she's the best horse, and she's going to be right there when the real racing commences on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll see if she can make the lead this time. We'll see if she has to be on the lead. Each of her last 4 wins have come when she was on the front right from the start. Again, she's won without the lead in the past, but her last 4 wins, all wire-to-wire fashion, including that one where she was super sharp. That pace wasn't fast, but she was sprinting through the stretch in that race. I mean, she's good, Dan. She's been good right from the start. She's still good. She showed that last time. She's probably the horse to beat.
I don't want to give up on the 9 Gams Mission just yet, which should be a decent price. This was a graded stakes winner last year, was a winner at Keeneland during their spring meet, then missed a little bit of time and was running on at the end of the matchmaker. Again, didn't have a lot of pace to run at. Consumer Spending was just a better closer than she was that day, but maybe she was a little short off the short layoff and perhaps tighter for this.
Yeah, maybe. I'd like to make excuses for her too. She's run some really nice races. I bet her last time in the matchmaker. I thought she ran fine, but I didn't think that she ran as well as Consumer Spending did. Maybe this trip will work out a little bit better for her though.
And the horse on the also eligible list, the main track only, Into Happiness, is up next. If this is washed off, she has a chance for trainer Mark Henning. Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for the Ballston Spa. Mike, you're going with Technical Analysis. She's just been so good for most of her career, and she might have a little bit of a pace edge in that she's going to get the jump on just about everybody turning for home.
Yeah, I think that's how I looked at it too, Dan. I mean, whether she's on the lead or if she's just sort of setting up shop off of Evie Jets in the early running here, she's supposed to be in a perfect spot when this field turns for home. And for the most part of her career, Dan, she shows up every single time. There are no bad races on her card.
I'm going to go with Speak of the Devil. I'm not sure if she can run anymore, but I'm going to give her the excuse last time out that no pace in Italian. What chance did she have? She was hung out a little bit wide 2 starts back when Fluffy Socks sort of got the jump on her in between horses. She gets one more chance for Chad at what should be the best price of the 3 brown train runners, and I think she'll get a little bit of pace. 8214 for Mike, 6821 for me. It's the Ballston Spa, your Thursday race of the day at Saratoga. Good luck.